Fezziwig's Fortune by Josie Seid and Sara Accuardi. Time, the 1800s. Place, England. Act 1, Scene 1. A still, blank space. There's something unearthly about it, something magical. Suddenly, a whisper of life. Music. A song that starts faint and grows as other voices join in, adding depth, adding harmony. There's a familiarity to the song, a warmth. It's a holiday song, but not quite. Hope steps forward. She is radiant, warm, in fact. She almost glows. The music grows louder. She throws out her arms a welcome. She pulls a copy of Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol from her robes and ceremoniously opens it. For a moment, it looks as if she's about to read, but instead, she looks up.
Tonight, we don't care that Marley was dead to begin with. That's not the story we're here to tell. I'm here to inform you there is no doubt whatsoever about that.
She begins to urgently flip through the book.
This is not about Marley, and certainly not about that tired old Scrooge. No, it isn't that spirit. He has the power to render us happy or unhappy, to make our service light or burdensome, a pleasure or a toil. That's not too bad. It's much closer anyway. Still, it's not quite there. Ah, here we are.
She rips out the pages and tosses the rest of the book aside.
This one we'll keep. At sight of an old gentleman in a Welsh wig, sitting behind such a high desk that if he had been 2 inches taller, he must have knocked his head against the ceiling, Scrooge cried in great excitement, "Why, it's old Fezziwig! Bless his heart! It's Fezziwig alive again!"
Fezziwig enters the space. He stares straight ahead, exhausted. His eyes might be red from crying.
There you are.
Catherine? Kitty?
Catherine enters the space.
Mrs. Fezziwig, as to her, she was worthy to be his partner in every sense of the term. If that's not high praise, tell me higher and I'll use it.
Catherine takes Fezziwig's hand and holds it tight.
Yes, this is our story.
The music swells.
But not where it begins.
Then, suddenly, silence. Time shifts. It is early morning, just after dawn. Hope walks with another woman, Joy, along the street. Joy is visually the opposite of Hope. She is dressed in all black and exudes an external chill. Ooh.
They say you're having trouble adjusting.
Adjusting? I've adjusted. I feel like I've been here forever. You can be straightforward with me. You don't have to sugarcoat it.
That was most certainly not my intention, dear. I just wanted to be sensitive because,
Well, don't.
Since you said you prefer to hear things straight out, I'll be blunt. You've adjusted, yes, but poorly.
I feel like I'm not supposed to be here.
Well, if you had been paying attention to the signs instead of feeling sorry for yourself, you may have not only avoided having to move on, but also at the very least, embraced that your situation was dire and thus had some time to mentally prepare.
Blunt, indeed. Thank you for that. I suppose you're right, but I never really felt like I was supposed to be there either, to be honest. I miss my family, though. I think about them all the time, and I worry. I want to visit them, but...
That's not impossible, you know.
How?
You haven't heard the news?
What news?
Well, it isn't so much news as an idea that's been going around the community, of certain ones. Returning to help to make positive changes, to liven things up, and in some cases even earn credit for better living arrangements. I've already signed on.
You have?
You should think about it. You might be a natural.
I doubt it. I'm nothing like you.
The work calls for all types of approaches. And it might help. A wise person once told me, if you want to make things better, make them better.
I could visit my family?
I don't see why not.
I suppose asking couldn't hurt.
Not at all. I should be off. Don't want to be late.
The women separate. They move away just as a door opens and Fezziwig appears in the doorway. He peers out and closes the door, returning inside his home where Catherine awaits. To get his attention, Catherine tosses an orange.
Heads up.
Fezziwig catches the orange.
What was that all about?
I could have sworn I heard Joy's voice.
Again? You know, it wasn't. Dear. Probably just some washerwoman off to work.
Which I ought to be soon, or I'll be late.
Are you sure? You've been so out of sorts lately. Hearing Joey's voice in the streets and...
I just missed her. That's all.
No, we both do, especially around this time of year. But I can't help but notice that lately you've been struggling with it even more, and I really think you need some time.
Time for what? Why?
A break. To mourn. To just be.
I don't know what good more idle time will do me. The warehouse is calling. The least I can do is make sure our livelihood survives. If I don't return to being a productive member of society, we'll lose the house and be out in the streets. Then I'll have even more to mourn.
I'll leave you to get ready then, dear.
Fezziwig picks up his overcoat and puts it on. He gets his hat and just stands with it in his hands for a long moment.
What is it, Phil?
Am I a failure, Catherine? Can I do this?
Of course you can do it. I've never seen you back down from any challenge.
But attempting is not succeeding.
I beg to differ. What you've done, what you're doing, is succeeding. You've been through so much. You've held this family together through the worst of times. That's succeeding.
But Catherine, our daughter is gone.
Yes, she is. And it is a devastation that will live with us every day for the rest of our lives. But your other daughters, healthy, happy, that remain, they need you too.
They're out of the house, married. They don't need me.
Of course they need you, Phil. As does that loving, spectacular wife of yours.
She kisses him on the cheek.
I've had this terrible feeling, like I'm missing something that's right in front of me. When Joy got sick, I was fully engrossed in my work, and I didn't notice it until it was too late to save her.
Now just hold it one moment. You are a magnificent specimen of a man indeed, but you aren't God. I was here and I wasn't able to catch it. Does that make me a lesser person?
No, but...
We all have butts and they stink to high heaven. I don't want to hear anything about your butts. We live the best we can, we do the best that we can, and we love the smithereens out of each other until it's all over. That is all we're called for. Last time I checked, you were still fully human, as are the lot of us. We are not in control of life and death. We only get to fill in the parts in between, and I'll be damned if I or anyone I love, voluntarily or otherwise, tries to take the blame or the credit for the circumstances beyond their control. Now get off to work before I lose my temper.
Fezziwig leans in to give her a kiss. She half-heartedly swats him away.
I love it when you get fierce like that. It's me all worked up. You know that, Mrs. Claus.
Go on, you. I'll have dinner ready when you get back.
I'll try to be home early. I promise I won't overdo it.
Catherine stands for a moment and watches him go from the doorway. As he rounds the corner, she staggers a bit. Holding her head, she leans against the doorway. As the pain subsides, she gathers herself and steps in, closing the door. Hope enters from the other direction. She approaches the door, looks around, and then knocks. Catherine answers the door with a small sack in her hand.
I thought you'd be back, dear, and you forgot your lunch.
She steps back, steps forward, and leans out of the door past Hope, then steps back into place. She laughs heartily.
I apologize, dear. I thought that was my husband coming back for the lunch he forgot.
Of course it's not a problem. Family life stops for no man or beast, yes?
Yes, heartily so. How may I help you, dear?
Oh, yes. Well, I was so enjoying our exchange, I forgot I was here for an actual reason. I was wondering if you might need any assistance around the house. I'm getting to a point in my living situation where I have more free time and the idleness is more than I can bear.
Oh, woman after my own heart. I am never happier than when I'm busy and bustling from here to there. To be honest, though, I'm not sure we can spare it financially.
I don't charge much, and honestly, I do it just for the company.
Ask you to work for less than what you need to live?
My situation is very stable. I don't need much.
You seem like a very nice person. So much so that I can't bring myself to take advantage of your kindness. Perhaps check back in a few months. And
I have a confession.
please, dear, we've only just...
No, I'm just trying to save to open a pub against the wishes of my husband.
Are you in some kind of trouble, dear?
Oh, no, nothing like that. My husband is a very loving man, but he is also, shall we say, proud. He sees it as a threat to his manhood that his woman should work. I, on the other hand, am bored to tears and can just feel my life slipping away. I crave a challenge. I'm starved for mental stimulation. The money would help to get me started, but if you can't pay, I have another idea.
Well, go on, for heaven's sake. You've hit me right in my weakness. I'm a pushover for a good collusion.
How about I clean and cook for you in exchange for the leftovers of the meals? And when it's ready, your endorsement of my pub. I can sell the meals for the money that I need, and if people in town knew the Fezziwigs are supporters of my establishment, there is no way I can't fail.
One moment. How did you know who I am? Have you been spying on us?
Well, I think I'm caught. Yes. Now, I know exactly who you are. But I can assure you it's not for nefarious purposes, but what kind of potential businesswoman would I be if I didn't do my research?
That's future businesswoman. I'm in on one condition.
Name it.
When the pub is up and running, you have a pint with me every third Saturday.
I'll do you one better. For you, a meal and all you can drink on the house.
Oh, then it's settled. How exciting. You know, it's funny. Before he landed in the warehouse business, husband always thought he'd own a pub.
That's a strange childhood dream.
He is a strange one, my Phil. It's one of the things I love best about him. When shall you start?
Tomorrow is as good a day as any. And a small request.
Certainly.
Keep this between us. I know your husband is well known around town, and I wouldn't want my husband to get wind just yet by the way of accidental slip of the tongue.
Mum's the word, my dear.
I just knew you'd be my kindred spirit. I am sure we'll become lifelong bosom friends.
I can't say it won't be nice to have another woman around to go on with. I'm looking forward to our little arrangement.
What time shall I arrive tomorrow morning?
Oh, my Philpot's an early riser. Anytime after 10 a.m. will do.
That's early?
I said he rises early.
Oh.
I didn't say he gets out of bed so soon.
Well, I will see you tomorrow then, mid-morning. Thank you so much, and you won't regret it.
See you tomorrow. Good heavens. I have no idea what that woman's name was. We chatted on like two busy squirrels, and I never asked her. Oh, I can't leak what I don't know, I suppose.
Hope has made her way up the street. She runs into joy.
It never gets easier, does it?
What never gets easier?
I don't understand how I'm expected to just do what I'm told and never have anything to say about it.
You're not making any sense.
That's precisely what I'm talking about. None of this makes sense. We live and we die, and there are people starving and succumbing to crippling, painful...
Where have you been?
We're supposed to just take our medicine. We're supposed to just swallow it down and smile, no matter how bitter it is, and behave as if we've done a bloody favor, no matter how horrid and gut-wrenching it is to get down.
Breathe for me. I can't follow you if you don't take a breath and communicate in a way that I can understand what you're talking about. Where have you been? Did you go talk to the...
Yes. Where else would I have gone?
What did you talk about?
I wouldn't call it talking. It was more like receiving orders. I did very little talking myself.
Did you ask for permission to visit your family?
I did.
Was it granted?
It was, but now I'm sorry I asked.
Why do you say that? I thought you were eager to see them. What about your assignment? Were you able to get that secured?
I don't want to talk about it anymore. Let's just go.
Joy, what happened?
Joy tries to walk away. Hope takes her arm to hold her back. Joy spins on her. She stands still and stares at Hope and then bursts into tears. Scene 2. Fezziwig's warehouse. Fezziwig sits in silence, staring out at nothing. He takes a deep breath. Ebenezer, a young, wiry, and wound a bit too tightly, approaches. His arms are full of garlands.
Sir?
Oh, didn't see you there, my lad.
Sorry, sir. I wasn't sure where to put these.
What are you doing with those?
Well, sir, the holidays are fast approaching, and with them, your annual Christmas ball. I've noticed nary a decoration in sight, which is fine by me, but if you don't mind me saying, quite unlike you, to be sure. In my independent studies on the tenets of success, I've found that taking the initiative is paramount, and therefore I've decided to take it upon myself to deck the halls, so to speak.
Have you?
I have, but the problem is, you see, sir, I'm not quite skilled at... festive isn't my... I consider the windows, but the more I consider the windows, the more I dislike the idea. I could put them on the walls, which would be expected and fine, but perhaps too expected. And should they hang high or midway down? I've thought and thought about these things, and I don't know how to do it, sir. I am so much better at numbers, sir. How do you do it?
Do what?
Bring joy, sir? You're so skilled at bringing cheer.
Am I?
Yes, sir. Merriment flows from you. Surely you know that.
I'm glad you think so.
I admire it so. Even now well, anyway, I should hang these. I will solve the problem. Worry not.
Even now when what?
What?
There was an observation you didn't fully share?
Oh, no, I don't think so, sir.
It's all right to share what's on your mind.
Well, I talk too much is all.
You may be my apprentice, Ebenezer, but I consider you an equal. Feel free to speak.
Well, sir, as you know, numbers are my passion.
I know that well.
And the art of business and revenue and equity and assets. The mere thought of accounting makes my spine tingle.
You are one of a kind, to be sure.
Thank you, sir. But what I mean to say is this. In my spare time, for pleasure, I check on the books, which is a task you have given me in the past, so I assumed it's all right.
It is.
Good. Well, yes, sir, I've seen them recently as this afternoon. Yet the numbers, I cannot see how they can be sustained. I cannot see how business can go forward. Surely you must share these concerns. Surely you must see this too.
In fact, I do.
So how can you be this merry?
What are your plans, Ebenezer?
I will hang garlands and then I will ask for my next task.
No, my lad. After that.
I will head home.
Further out, yet, who will you be when you're my age?
I will be a businessman, like you.
I have no doubt you will. What sort of business?
A successful one, sir.
And how will you measure success?
Sir, there is but one way.
And that is?
Money. Yes?
No, my dear boy. No. There's so much more than that. There is wealth and love. There is wealth and family and good deeds. Money cannot be the only measure.
To be sure, sir.
This businessman you picture, old and gray like me, what else is in his life? Come on, picture it. What's around him?
House.
House or home?
Is there a difference?
The difference is vast. What about family? You'll have one of those, yes?
Certainly. They are the measure of a successful man, are they not?
A wife and some children.
Sure.
For my wife and my children, their value is greater than every shilling I've made.
They are lovely people, sir.
Are you still seeing that girl?
Who?
The one you were so enchanted with at the Christmas ball last year?
Oh, right. Belle. Yes.
She seemed quite enchanted with you as well. You should find someone who looks at you like that. Someone that looks like, you should find someone that looks at you like that and don't let them go.
I'll certainly take that under advisement.
It's easy to get lost in the things that don't matter. I'd hate to see that happen to you.
It won't, sir.
I hope not. I hope you build a dream beyond an accounting ledger. That is how you do it. How you manage to be merry, even when it seems impossible.
Yes, sir.
It's something I'm still learning too, this practice of merriment.
It's just that...
What?
Money helps too. Without it, I imagine the rest to be, and pardon me for saying so, a bunch of humbug.
I promise you, it's not.
Okay, sir, if you say. Shall these go to the windows then?
No need to hang those today.
No, it's no trouble.
I've decided to give the festivities a rest this year.
Oh, that's funny, sir.
I do not mean to be.
But people come far and wide to your parties. Even I attend.
People will find other ways to make merry. They always do.
Okay, sir, if you say, sir.
Ebenezer takes the garlands away. Fezziwig watches him go. When he is out of sight, Fezziwig pulls a flask from his jacket and takes a deep swig. He replaces the lid and returns it to his pocket. He hangs his head and quietly weeps. Time shifts. It is early evening. Joy is in a pool of light. To one side of the stage, she is pacing. The Fezziwig house is visible, but not the focus of the scene. It is warmly lit from the inside.
Be smart, girl. Even if I don't deliver the news, it makes it no less true, no less fatal. Would you rather she has no pre-warning, no lead time to get her affairs in order? It's not like you're doing the thing to her, but why must it happen at all? Hasn't she suffered enough already? You, up there, if you can predict this tragedy, shouldn't you be able to suspend it?
Thunder rumbles.
Is that what you call this? A gift? I won't do it. That's all. What would they do? Kill me?
A louder clap of thunder. Joy screams. It is a gut-wrenching scream, and it is unclear whether the scream is in pain, fear, or frustration. Lights up in the Fezziwig house. Hope and Catherine are there. They react to the thunder.
Sounds like a storm is brewing, and it sounds to be a big one.
The sky almost sounds angry. Thunder, snow. Not a good omen.
The way the wind is screaming out there, it appears to be no night for man nor beast. I hope Phil gets home all right.
Well, I'm sure he'll be fine. Sounds like it's in the distance yet.
Hope goes to the stove and stirs a pot. She takes the spoon and lifts out a bit of the contents and brings it to Catherine.
Here, taste this. It's my new recipe.
Oh, good heavens! What is that? It's indescribable. It's rich and light simultaneously. The flavors are complex yet straightforward. I could eat this for every meal.
You're being far too kind.
I'm not. I would tell you if it was horrible. Remember, I have a stake in this too. What exactly is it? Is it a soup or a sauce or some sort of...
I'm going to use it as a base for either. Now, I found that the taste remains consistently delicious, but transforms as ingredients are added. This is what people will come from miles around to sample at the pub. I hope.
Oh, no need to worry. That is liquid magic.
I've got some news.
What kind of news? Out with it. You're behaving as if you're going to tell me the world is about to fall to pieces.
Nothing like that. I'm just nervous.
Dear me. My heart is racing.
Catherine, are you all right?
Yes, dear. I'm fine. These headaches, they've been getting a little more intense lately.
Did my news bring it on?
I'd say more your lack of news. It's nothing really. See? It's already gone. It was just passing.
Catherine, it's nothing to make light of. You've been through so much lately. Perhaps the stress is causing some health issues? Have you seen a doctor?
I have, indeed. I've seen several, and they're all stodgy, boring blowhards who think they know it all. Stop worrying. I know what the doctor would order.
What?
A healthy dose of satisfaction. Tell me your news already.
Your tenacity is remarkable.
Noted and appreciated. Proceed.
I'll tell you. Of course I'll tell you. Just let me get it all out before you start firing questions at me. Agree?
Agreed.
I think I've secured the location of the pub.
So soon? Oh, this is wonderful news. Oh, where is it? How did you find it? Is it expensive? Oh, what kind of condition is it in?
Questions. It's just on the outskirts of town. It's an old abandoned house that I happened upon. I got it for a pittance because it needs a bit of work, and it has been uninhabited for a long time. With a good sprucing, it would make a lovely pub with a few rooms to board to boot. I almost have the money saved up to purchase it, and then I can begin to do work on the inside. It'll be up and running in no time.
When do you expect to be able to receive your first customers? We will, of course, be first in line.
If I really put my back into it before the holiday, for sure.
Oh, that sounds like an awful lot of work for one person. Do you have any help?
No, just me. But I've got enough ambition and elbow grease to get it done.
Why don't I come and help you? Fear?
I couldn't ask you to do that. It's too lowly of work for a woman of your stature.
Nonsense. Are we friends or not? Besides, I want to see the place, and you know that wherever I go, if there's work to be done, I can't help myself.
There is a rumble of thunder. It rolls for a long time. Then a knock at the door. Catherine rises, but Hope shoos her away.
I'll get it. I'm closer. I'm on my way out anyway.
She answers the door to find Joy there. She reaches back and quickly plucks her coat and scarf off of a chair and rushes out the door, pushing Joy along with her.
I'll see you tomorrow, Catherine. It's just my friend. Come to walk me home.
What is the meaning of this?
What are you doing here? It's not time yet.
How do you know what it's time for? You're not in charge of...
I am sure I don't know the reason for you showing up here and seeking to send that poor woman to her maker before her time. But what I do know is, if I have any say, there will be none of your shenanigans.
She deserves to know.
And she will know in due time. Joy, there are forces at work here that we don't have the authority to undermine. There is a goal to be reached, and you're behaving recklessly. It will surely upend all of our work that's been done and land us firmly in hell to boot.
I'm already in hell. I'm cold all of the time. I'm not resting, and I feel as if I'm wandering aimlessly through this. It's not a life. I'm merely existing at this point.
Hold yourself together. Be strong for a little while longer. We will have the rest we seek after the work is done.
They hear singing, a man's voice. They step into the shadows. It's Fezziwig. He's drunk and walking home while he sings.
Hush your tears, my babe, my dear. Daddy's with you now. I'll rock your bed and sing you songs and calm your fears somehow. I'll rock your bed and sing you songs and calm your fears somehow.
He leans against the wall and pulls out a flask. He takes a long draw.
That's rich. How are you going to calm anybody's fears, old man? You're terrified about to lose everything, and you don't even have the courage to be truthful with your wife? You're a failure, man. You weren't even able to save your daughter. You were a burden and now a disappointment to your father. And now you're about to take that sweet woman to the poorhouse to die after all she's done to your house, to make your house a home. What to do? What to do? I can't bring myself to go to the lenders. That will end us even more swiftly. Those crooks. I may well be more valuable dead to her alive. Perhaps if I'm gone, she'll sell what's left of the business and save the house.
He slides down the wall and sits in a puddle. Begins to take off his scarf, hat, and outer coat. He retrieves the flask and takes a long, sloppy drink.
Go to the house. Now. Right now.
What are you saying?
Heard me. Not through the door. The other way. Show yourself to her. Now.
Joy goes around the back corner of the house and disappears. There is a moment, then a scream from Catherine. Fezziwig hears the scream and snaps out of it. He jumps up and collects himself and rushes into the house. The house is empty but for Catherine, who is on the floor, fainted dead away. Fezziwig lifts her, ever so gently, onto a chair and pats her face.
My love, my darling, wake up, please. I'm here. It's Philpot. You're Phil.
She was here, Phil.
Who was here, darling?
Oh, no, our Joy. I saw her.
Darling, it was a dream. You fell down and perhaps hit your head. You've just awakened.
Phil, I saw her. Phil.
She puts her hand to her head. Fezziwig rises to get her a glass of water.
Drink this.
Oh, you found it hurt so badly.
Fezziwig examines her head.
There's no bumps, no bruising.
I didn't hit it, Phil. I've been having headaches for a while now.
What kind of headaches? Why didn't you tell me this?
Do you think perhaps me seeing Joy was a hallucination?
Let's not talk about that now, dear. If you saw her, I believe you. The most important thing is for you to get some rest. Will you be all right? I want to go fetch the doctor.
Please don't leave, Phil. I'm afraid.
You'll be fine. I'll not be long, but I need to be sure you're well.
Fine, but hurry, please.
He kisses her and is out the door in a flash.
No. I can feel you. I know you're still here.
I'm sorry I frightened you, Mother.
Really here.
As here as I can be.
How? Why?
It's not good news, Mother.
I was never one to hide from the truth, and I won't start now. Speak, child.
It's your headaches. They're not harmless.
I had begun to fear as much. Will they be fatal then?
Eventually.
Do you know how long I have?
You have enough time.
What does that mean? You were always such a cryptic child.
I'm sorry for that I was so hard to understand.
Don't be sorry. I loved you. I love you still. You were strange and deep and strong and completely your own person. How could any mother be disappointed with that? You kept me on my toes, that's for sure.
I always felt like such a burden, like I didn't belong in this world.
Oh, my dear love. You were never a burden. Never. This world didn't deserve you. Are you happy where you are?
I don't know if happy is the way to put it. I just am.
Why are you still here, roaming the earth? Aren't you supposed to go to a white or something like that?
I have work to do. It involves this and Father.
Is he sick too?
No, nothing like that. He is troubled, though. My coming here is part of a bigger plan to make sure he is able to fulfill a mission and that he can survive after
I die.
He's already bearing so much, Mother. If we don't succeed, the weight of it will destroy him from the inside.
I've always felt some kind of weight inside of him. Even in his happiest times. He feels as if he's shaking his fist at something. Like he's trying to prove something with his laughter. Is that what you mean?
I suppose. He isn't my assignment, so I don't know many details. I remember that when I was alive, he seemed to fear the way I faced the darkness in me. I think it's why I never felt like I belonged.
Oh my darling. In the darkness there is rest. It's nothing to fear.
Mother?
Yes, my love?
Why Joy? The name seems so out of place for a shadow like me.
You are my joy. You were my delight. I love seeing you grow and become your own woman. I always felt like I could do anything because of you. You and the way you face down your fears. I'm so proud of you.
I have to go, Mother.
Will I see you again?
You will. I'll be around to help you. Don't tell Father about me yet. Let him think I was a dream to you. There's more to be done to save him, and it's not time yet for those things to be revealed.
Can you just stay until he's back? I missed you so.
Joy looks up. There is a beam of light that shines on her.
That I can do, Mother.
Joy takes her mother's hand. Time passes. Joy vanishes. Scene 3. Fezziwig's house later. Fezziwig and Catherine sit in silence. Catherine reaches out and places a hand on his knee.
Don't do that, please.
What?
Attempt to comfort me when I should be the one to comfort you. It is the smallest thing I could do in a moment like this. Even there, I fail to. I wish I were a stronger man. You deserve a husband who can support you, a husband who can fix this.
No one can fix this. It is apparently a quite unfixable thing.
You seem strangely at ease.
What other option do I have?
Curse, rail against fate, cry, scream, all of the things I want to do.
But what would that change?
I don't know. Perhaps it would make me feel better. This calm doesn't match the moment. If ever there was a time for that temper of yours, it would be now.
Strange how peaceful I feel. Even when Joy told me.
Joy?
So I know it sounds crazy, but I saw her. She told me to tell you it was only a dream, but it wasn't a hallucination. It was her.
Okay.
You don't believe me.
I simply know you've been through a lot.
Have I ever been one to make up stories?
No, but...
What, my love, that temper you miss so is rising. I know what is true and what is not. Just because I'm ill doesn't mean I've lost my sense of...
Fezziwig embraces her.
I know what I saw.
Okay. I believe you.
I need you to mean it, not just say it. Empty words mean nothing.
I believe you.
Good. And I believe that you believe me.
What was it like? How did she look?
She was herself, Phil, in every respect. It's still strange. I thought spirits were things of fantasy from silly children's stories where they appear to people in the form of mist, but she was real. I could have sworn she was flesh and blood.
I keep wondering. Never mind.
What?
Why would she come to you and only you? Why didn't she come to me?
You're not her assignment.
Her assignment?
It's something she said. I don't know what it means.
I'm almost ashamed of how jealous I feel. Here you are in your situation, and all I can do is fret about the fact that she didn't come to visit me.
I know how deeply you trust her.
Her loss lingers in every corner of my soul. I can't imagine how I'll bear it when you're...
You'll find a way. If there's one thing I know about my Philpot, is that he always finds a way.
It seems impossible.
Because we're not there yet. Far from it. When you reach that bridge, you'll know how to pass it.
How can you laugh?
I'm sorry. I'm just floored by my own hypocrisy. My love, I understand. If I were asked to shoulder this news about you, I would be distraught. It's selfish, I know, but in so many ways, I am thankful that I am the one to leave and not the other one. Not the other way around, not the one to stay, because the thought of losing you is just too much to even ponder.
That is how I feel.
I know. Which is why, when I try to comfort you, I need you to realize that knowing you're okay, that knowing you will make it through this, is what comforts me.
I will try.
I'll need you to do better than try, Mr. Fezziwig.
Okay. I will.
Good. Then you will take me up on a request.
Anything, my love. Anything at all.
You will make this time I have left the happiest time I have ever known.
Of course.
And you will use this time to teach yourself to turn that smile of yours that you paint on your face to become a real smile.
It is a real smile.
Not yet. It will be.
Okay.
And also, no more talk about canceling the Christmas ball.
Catherine.
I don't want to hear another word from your mouth, but yes.
I would do anything for you. You know that. But my warehouse is hanging on by a thread. My daughter is gone, and my wife, my headstrong, perfect wife, is... There is no way I can bring myself to celebrate this year.
You said you would do anything for me.
And I would.
This is the simplest ask.
My love, even if we had the money, which we don't, or if I had the emotional fortitude to see it through, which, alas, I don't. Your health is fragile. I cannot in good conscience let you take that risk.
What risk?
The dancing, the merriment, the noise, none of that can be good for someone in your condition.
You act as though I'm an invalid.
You act as though you are not.
Look at me, Phil. I am the same wife who sat in front of you this morning, aren't I? What has changed?
This morning, I did not know you were ill.
But what has changed? Look at me. I am still strong. I am still capable.
You may appear that way.
I promise you, I can still dance. You want me to show you? Huh?
Kitty, don't you dare.
Catherine lifts her skirt above her ankle.
I'll do it, Phil. Don't test me.
Stop.
Catherine does a quick jig.
Oh, come on, Phil. It's a dance.
I can't lose you.
I won't be lost from dancing.
But the strain, the exertion, it might make things worse.
Can't I be the judge of that?
I cannot risk losing you even sooner. I just cannot.
And I cannot risk living out the rest of my days without a speck of merriment. If that's the case, I'd rather go just right now.
Don't say such things.
True.
But what about me?
I want us both to be happy in this time we have together. Please don't let it be filled with worry and caution. I still have some life left. And I want it to feel like life.
Being calm and still with me is still a life.
Of course it is. And a beautiful life at that. But I want as much life as possible. I want the party. I won't push myself further than I should, and I know the enjoyment would be good for me. Phil, we don't have power over the situation, but we have the power to paint our memories. They should be slathered with smiles and lavished in love and colored with cheer. Please. Please?
Okay,
Really?
I'll make it work.
Catherine embraces her husband.
My Phil. Oh, I love you so much.
There's a lot to do. The decorations, the food. There's a good question. Who will provide the food and how will we afford it this year?
Find a way.
I admire your optimism. You know I do. But I need you to be practical.
We will find a way. In fact, I think I just found one.
Scene 4. Fezziwig and Catherine trudge through unfamiliar and winding streets. Catherine leads the way, holding up a lantern and occasionally peering at a crude map. They seem a little lost. Fezziwig is close to the end of his patience.
Don't make that face.
It's dark. How can you tell I'm making a face?
How long have we been married? I can tell when you're making a face. You're making it so hard I can almost hear it. Okay, I left here.
I could swear we turned the hair before.
Well, don't, because we didn't.
Catherine makes a turn. Fezziwig follows. They walk for a bit longer. Catherine pauses to hold up the map and study it.
See? That's looking right. All we have to do is follow along here, and then... What was that?
Nothing.
Thought so. Come on. None of that. Don't you trust me?
Have you been to this place before?
Well, not exactly.
Not reassuring.
Have I ever led you astray?
Yes, in fact, presently.
Catherine stops.
In all our years of marriage, how many times have I been wrong? Well, have an answer yet? I'll wait.
None that I can think of.
Exactly. None that you can think of. And, my love, for curiosity's sake, how many times have you been wrong?
Quite a few.
A charitable answer. So, what conclusion shall we draw from this?
There's a first time for everything?
Try again.
That I should trust you.
That you trust.
Okay.
Fezziwig takes her hand. They start to walk again.
So you heard about this place from a friend?
Correct.
A friend I've never heard of before?
Is that so strange?
I'd think you would have said something.
What can I say? I'm a woman of mystery. Turn here.
How did you meet this friend?
She came by the house one day. How did you meet each and every one of your friends?
I'm only curious and confused. This is her house we're going to?
Not exactly. It's her pub.
Her pub?
Well, it will be.
You mean her husband's pub?
I mean her pub. She's opening a pub all on her own. Isn't that marvelous? Oh, I so admire a woman who's with ambition and dreams and tenacity. Oh, she's amazing, Phil. Simply amazing. And to think she asked me to help her out.
You?
I know! I couldn't believe it. I would have said something sooner, but the time never seemed right, and I had no doubt you would support me. You always do, Phil, and that is why I love you. So.
You're opening a pub.
No, keep up, Phil. She is, not me, and she is the most marvelous cook.
But you're helping.
That's right.
Oh.
And I cannot express how lovely it is to have a project of my own. Take a right here.
Huh.
What?
A strange familiarity through the street. That's all.
You've been here before?
Unlikely. Though, seeing as I have no idea where I am, anything is possible.
Catherine pauses and studies the map.
We should be almost there.
She keeps walking, perhaps at a faster pace in her excitement. Fezziwig works to catch up.
Now, I should warn you, it's not finished, the pub. So don't set your expectations too high. Right now, it's just a house. Apparently quite desolate, but perfect for a little pub. Just perfect, like it's been waiting for her, for us, this whole time. We're going to fix it up and give it a new life. Isn't that beautiful? I can hardly contain my excitement.
But you haven't seen it.
Well, I will shortly, won't I?
She quickly takes another turn and Fezziwig follows. She looks at the map and steps forward. She takes a few steps and smiles. She runs back to Fezziwig and grabs his hand and pulls him toward what she sees. A small little house reveals itself, though it clearly hasn't been occupied in a long while. There is warmth to it. The windows glow. They stare. Catherine beams. Fezziwig is dumbfounded.
Well, isn't it just lovely? What do you think?
Catherine marches to the door.
I wonder if she's here. Come on.
Fezziwig doesn't move. He just stares at the house. Before Catherine can reach the door, it flies open. Hope stands there, dressed in clothes we haven't seen before. She glows.
Hello, Phil.
Oh,
He reaches out to her before fainting into the snow. End of Act 1. Act 2. Scene 1. Fezziwig stands frozen, staring at Hope in the doorway. She stands, waiting for his reaction.
Hope?
You two know each other?
Catherine's words are unheard by either Hope or Fezziwig. He starts towards the door. She follows at a distance.
There you are.
Have you been waiting?
I always will be waiting for you, Philpott. You are the gift that forever changed my life.
Fezziwig and Catherine are in the house now. Hope smiles warmly at her. A look that says, "Let this play out," and motions her to a chair in the corner. Fezziwig begins his journey into the past. He watches as a younger version of him reenacts scenes from his life.
Hope? Hope, where's father?
Working, dear.
But he's always working. It's already dark. When is he coming home?
I'm not sure. How about you come in and have some dinner? Maybe he'll be here by the time you're preparing for bed.
You can't tell me what to do. You're not my mom. You're just some lady he brought home after my mama left.
No, Philpott. I am not your mother. I'd like to be your friend, though.
I don't need some old lady for a friend. I want my mother back.
Young Fezziwig runs from the room. Hope lowers her head. Time shifts. Young Fezziwig re-enters from the other room. It is another day.
Father? Father?
Philpott, your father is in his bedroom. He just got home from work.
I've been waiting all day for him. I wanted to ask him about our outing this weekend. He promised me a new suit jacket.
Maybe wait till he comes out. He seemed to be
Fezziwig ignores her and goes tearing into the back room. Hope picks up her husband's waistcoat from the chair. She pulls a flask from the breast pocket, unscrews it, and pours the liquid into a potted plant on the table. Fezziwig emerges from the back.
How come ever since you came around there's never enough money for anything?
Hope picks up her purse from the table. She pulls out a few coins and puts them in Fezziwig's hand. He throws them across the room.
I don't want your money. I want my father back.
He runs from the house. Older Fezziwig goes to the window and looks out as if watching the young Fezziwig run away. He goes to the door and opens it. He steps outside. The door closes behind him. Time shifts. He re-enters wearing a different piece of clothing to indicate the beginning of another memory.
Welcome home, Philpott. Although I must say, I wish it were under happier circumstances.
How is he? Is he still with us?
He is. I think he's waiting for you. He's not likely got much time left.
Fezziwig goes into the back where his father is ill in bed, likely preparing to take his last breath. Hope goes to a drawer and opens it. She takes out a letter and holds it to her chest. She holds it as if it is the most precious thing she owns. After a few moments, Fezziwig emerges. She looks at him. He returns the look, and then an almost undetectable acknowledgement. His father is gone.
He asked me to give you this in case you didn't make it in time.
She hands the letter to Fezziwig, who takes it. He holds it, then lays it on the table in anger. He walks out the door without another word. Hope picks up the letter and goes to the wall. She pulls out a brick and puts the letter inside and replaces the brick. Time shifts. We are back in the present.
I think I always knew my father was struggling. When my mother was here, before Hope, I saw it was she who bore the burden of raising me. After my mother left, he came home with Hope one day. I wanted to lay the blame on her for my mother leaving. In my heart, now I know it was not she, but he who was the absentee parent.
He was fighting his own battles, Philpott. He did love you.
I'm not sure what to do with that information now.
Hope moves to the wall where she put the letter from so many years earlier. She removes the brick and retrieves the letter. It is time-worn and yet unread. She places it on the table in the exact spot where he put it before leaving the house forever.
This might help. In the least, it may give you some closure.
I'm not sure closure is what I need. Perhaps what may be more useful to me as a doctor. Are my eyes deceiving me? Are you here, Hope? You haven't aged.
I think you know the answer to that question.
So I've finally lost it, huh? Well, I suppose it was bound to happen. Everything else in my life is falling to pieces. Why not my sanity?
Catherine stands and comes forward. She stands next to Hope.
Phil, now you listen to me and you listen good. There was nothing wrong with you. As I see it, you've been given a gift. You have a chance to reclaim a moment that was lost when your father left this world. This beautiful woman who could be lounging in eternity, strumming a harp, is instead here to help you close a door that has been left ajar for too long.
Do you realize what you're saying, Catherine?
I know exactly what I'm saying, and either you admit that the spirit of your stepmother is here, or that you're a hypocrite. Or that you are a hypocrite.
What is that supposed to mean?
You said you believed me that I saw joy, so either you were lying then, or you're a hypocrite because you can't believe in one without believing in the whole kit and caboodle.
Are you in on this?
Define in.
Did you help set this? Did you help set up this ambush?
Philpott, is that how you see this? I know all of the memories here may not be good, but this was your home, and it remains so. We don't have a pile of treasure that we can give you to save your livelihood, but there is treasure in these walls. If you remember clearly enough, there was laughter and oh so much love. Won't you please try to recall the good times?
Fezziwig stands. He gathers his things.
It's too much. Things are coming at me too fast. I need some time alone.
That's completely understandable. Hope will...
No, Catherine, I need to be alone right now. I'll see you at home later.
Fezziwig exits out the front door. Joy appears from the back.
He didn't take it well, did he?
Not well at all. Oh, man. There's so very much changing for him, and he sees none of it as good. He hasn't had a real emotional break in such a long time. Losing you in the warehouse, and now...
A lot to bear indeed.
It's too much. No one should be expected to endure this type of hardship.
Joy, I know you care about him. Of course you do. He's your father. But we are not privy to the whole picture, and we must trust that...
Trust? Trust what? That he'll find his way home where he'll fall exhausted into bed and weep himself to sleep?
Calm down.
I have no more patience for calm. I will not stand by while my father is whittled down to little more than memories, regrets, and pain.
She storms out of the room.
Well, she comes by it honest.
Is it really that intense?
No, she's definitely worse.
She's magnificent.
She really is.
We see Fezziwig standing alone. We also see Joy. They are in separate places, but we see them at the same time. Both are speaking to an unseen force.
I'm not sure what I did to deserve this.
As far as I know, I did everything I was supposed to, but still no relief comes.
Perhaps I've not lived up to expectations.
Maybe I haven't tried hard enough in your eyes?
Fine, punish me.
But why must my family suffer so intensely?
Why must they pay for my shortcomings?
My mother,
My wife,
my father,
my daughter?
they have done nothing to deserve this onslaught. What can I do to ease their pain?
I'm willing to do anything, to sacrifice anything. Anything, if it's not too much to ask.
No. It is what I came here for.
I'll be waiting for your answer.
They turn and exit in their respective directions. Scene 2, the warehouse. It is now decorated to the nines. Everything over the top. Fezziwig is standing on a table, loudly humming a festive song as he strings some garlands in the window. Catherine rushes in, panicked. She spots Fezziwig.
Phil,
My love,
I've been looking everywhere for you, everywhere. When you weren't at home, What are you doing?
I'm taking matters into my own hands. What do you think?
It's
Marvelous, right?
a lot. It's a lot.
And there's more where that came from.
Ebenezer enters, dragging a giant tree.
Ah, there you are. Just a moment, my lad.
Fezziwig jumps down from the table to help Ebenezer. They drag the tree in and right it. Fezziwig merrily starts to fluff the branches and admire the tree.
Oh, wow.
Isn't it grand?
Grand, all right. Oh, hello, Miss Fezziwig.
Ebenezer,
What do you think?
I think it's enormous.
That it is.
I think everything in this room is, well,
How are you affording this?
That's a worry for another day.
Okay, well, yes, sir, but between this and the extremely generous Christmas bonus you gave me,
how generous.
extremely.
You work very hard. You deserve it. Now, enough of all that. I need baubles. Guests will be arriving shortly, and we must decorate this glorious beast.
Are you feeling okay?
Never been better.
You've been through so much, my love. I'm worried. Not even a day ago, you were sadder than I've ever seen you, and now...
You said you wanted a party.
I did.
A grand party.
Yes, well,
And that is exactly what you shall have. We will dance the night away without a care or worry in the world.
but what about tomorrow?
Today is no time for tomorrows. Come, let's dance.
Fezziwig reaches his hand out to Catherine. The room transforms into a perfect ball. Music swells, lights glow. The tree is suddenly perfectly decorated. The sounds of people, laughter, and festivities fill the room. Catherine takes his hand. They dance.
My love,
Yes?
what if I were to let all this go?
Let all what go?
The warehouse, all of it.
Where's this coming from?
It's no secret this place hasn't made me happy in ages.
That hasn't been lost on me. Perhaps with more time.
I know myself enough to know it isn't a matter of time. Catherine, I've sold my share of the business. This is a farewell party as much as anything else. I should have told you. I know. But I couldn't bear it. Not anymore. Now I feel so stupid. I don't know what comes after this. Maybe if I'd consulted you, I'd have more direction about...
Uh-oh. Okay.
Okay, what?
Okay, then we figure it out.
How? The warehouse was our only source of income. Unfortunately, money is a necessary part of living.
Then we figure out another way to make it.
The warehouse is all I know.
Come now. You sell yourself short. My Fezziwig is an entrepreneur through and through.
You've mistaken me for someone else.
You're always coming up with schemes. Remember that story you told me about the tavern you ran when you were no more than 8 years old?
A childhood game. It was nothing more than a flimsy fort.
Where you charged the other neighborhood children for meal and drink.
Well, apples from a nearby tree or bread I swiped from home. It was all pretend.
Don't forget the flask of ale you lifted from your father, charging a farthing a sip.
I thought I was so clever. Alas, Charlie Huffam was the only one willing to pay that much. At least I wasn't caught.
How long did you manage to keep that play tavern going?
A year at least. It had quite the reputation.
The most celebrated tavern in town, I'm sure.
Oh, no doubt. It was fun, at least.
That's what you should do.
What?
Open a tavern. A pub. You'd be a natural, obviously. Could be a pit.
That would cost a fortune. And without you by my side, I couldn't possibly...
That's something to think about. For now, dance.
They dance and dance. Time passes. Party guests celebrate and feast. Time passes. Party guests dance. One guest does a particularly enthusiastic and strange dance. Time passes. Fezziwig and Catherine danced together like nothing in the world could part them. Scene 3, later that night. Fezziwig and Catherine are seen approaching their house. They are jovial and laughing. They enter the house.
Stop. You got to stop. I'm not sure I can hold my bladder if you keep it up.
I keep thinking about it. Where did he learn it?
Do you think he actually learned that dance? Who in their right mind would? In good conscience, make up something that ridiculous and then teach it to someone.
I think you're right. He had to have made it up himself. I think he did it to make us all laugh.
How did it go again?
I think it went like this. You, then you,
Or it was like this. Zuradi, Zubalu.
But no, you're just making things up. Oh my God. I'm crying. I'm laughing so hard.
Fezziwig comes to her and takes her in his arms. He dances her around, humming and laughing and joking around. They eventually land in a heap, panting and giggling.
What a grand night.
It was the best party yet. Everything I could have ever dreamed of.
Did you truly enjoy yourself here?
Oh, so very much.
I'm glad.
Remember when we were young, Phil?
Were we ever young?
Seems like a lifetime ago, doesn't it?
It's so beautiful.
Oh, now don't go trying to flirt.
Our wedding night?
Oh, heavens, yes.
We are clearly not having the same memory.
Remember? Oh, Surely you haven't forgotten.
Oh my goodness. That's right. I threw my back out.
It was so sweet. I almost feel guilty for laughing. No, I don't. It was truly unapologetically hysterical.
How do you women folk move in all those layers and buckles and buttons and hooks and...
It wasn't all that bad, was it?
You know, of course you know. You were my first and only love. I'd never been with a woman before, let alone tried to impress one.
Why didn't you say something?
And compromise my manlyhood? Never.
I thought you died. I fully expected that I had become a bride and a widow in one night. You never told me. What exactly happened? All I know is one moment you're disengaging my skirts, and the next you were lying on your back on the floor.
I got that hoop thingamabobby off, tossed it onto the floor. I was so darn proud of myself. I did a little jig. I reached in for the second layer. How you didn't melt under all of that fabric is beyond me. Slipped on the hoop and it's something in my lower back. I felt something in my lower back go, and I was down and out in one fell swoop.
I heard and then a thud. I looked down and there you were.
You were so gracious, even though we didn't get to consummate until almost a month after the wedding.
I have the rest of life. I have the rest of my life with the man I love. I was in no hurry. Bill,
Yes, love?
this is how I want to go.
Must you go at all?
If I were the holder of my fate, I would never leave your side. Still, something about knowing the wine won't last makes each sip a little sweeter.
Fezziwig takes Catherine into his arms and kisses her lovingly. They embrace, and then she lays her head on his shoulder.
Mrs. Claus,
Yes, dear?
do you know why I started calling you that?
Because I'm such a gift to you that I remind you of the holidays?
Not exactly.
How in the world have you been calling me this name for all this time and I don't know what it means? Out with it, you scoundrel.
That's it, right there. That fight. I just love it when your claws come out and you're ready to take on the world and whatever comes with it. Why not now, dear?
Oh. But I am, my love. I'm just taking on the other side. What an adventure it must be over there.
But you're leaving me behind.
Bill, remember that loft you built to be Joy's room? She was, 7 years old? And she wanted her own space so badly. But when it was done, she was afraid to climb the ladder.
I do. I got a length of rope and tied her up all safe and sound, and then I climbed the ladder with the rope to show her she wasn't going to fall.
Oh, how she cried. She was so nervous about the whole thing, and she begged you not to go up there and leave her.
I haven't thought about that in years.
And what did you tell her?
I can't remember. Something silly and baseless, no doubt. I was such a bumbling fool when it came to her.
You said, I'm not going far. When you feel afraid, look up. See? Here I am. I'll be holding on to you the whole time and I'll never let you fall. You can do it. I'll be here to hug you when you get here, and it will be sooner than you know.
And that brave girl climbed that ladder. I barely held on to the rope at all. Her smile got bigger and bigger with each step until she was in my arms. I was so proud of her. I asked her how she made it so fast and so cheerfully, and she told me.
Joy appears and speaks the words with her father.
I told myself the faster I climbed,
the faster I'd be able to hug you, Daddy, and to see my new room. I knew every step I took brought me closer to you and all the things I wanted.
and then I wasn't afraid anymore.
You wise child. You're going to be okay, though.
I'm going to be okay.
It's time for me to go, dear.
So soon?
It will always be too soon for us, my love.
Then one more time around the floor, milady?
He takes her into his arms and they dance to the tune of their love.
You're going to be okay.
I'm not sure I am.
Catherine begins to work herself out of his embrace. She moves to join Joy.
When you feel afraid, look up. See? Here I am. I'll be holding on to you the whole time, and I'll never let you fall. You can do it. I'll be here to hug you when you get here, and it will be sooner than you know.
Catherine joins Joy and takes her hand. They embrace, and Joy whispers something in her ear. Catherine beams and hugs her tighter. Joy hands Catherine a beautiful red cloak with fur trim.
So you don't get too cold.
Fezziwig continues to dance, his arms encircling the Catherine that isn't there. He smiles and hums and spins. He stops dancing, and he tries to keep his spirits up, despite the realization that he's now alone. Joy watches him.
You're going to be okay. You know that, Father, right?
You're still here.
Only for a little longer.
Joy pulls a letter from her pocket. The letter from Fezziwig's childhood.
This is for you.
She hands it to Fezziwig.
I'm told it's a reminder that what you're looking for may not be as impossible as it seems. Father, I never got a chance to tell you how lucky I was, how lucky I am to be your daughter. I know I must have been difficult to love.
You were the easiest person in the world to love.
I wasn't like other children. I was morose, sullen.
You were perfect. To me, you were the brightest of lights.
I know. Somehow you saw me that way. You always made me feel loved. You always made me feel safe. And I know it wasn't easy. I know you worked hard to be everything for me and my sisters that your father couldn't be for you.
You promise I didn't let you down?
Not even a little.
You are my miracle. You know that? My clever little miracle with a fear of heights and a love of spiders. My joy. My joy. Of course, you'd figure out how to cross the heavens and return to me, and there's nothing my girl can't do.
That's true.
Think you could teach your mother that trick?
Well,
I'm kidding. I know that's one too many miracles for a mortal like me.
Ah, but there's nothing your girl can't do.
What are you saying?
I worked out an arrangement. I don't want to say too much because it's not completely final, but it's something. It's something.
An arrangement?
That's all I can say for now, but you'll see. I promise.
I wish I could hold you. You look so real, so human. Yet, I know that's just a trick of the eye, that I can't.
Joy runs into her father's arms and holds him tightly. Astonished, Fezziwig embraces her, never wanting to let go. After a while, Joy pulls away, because she must. She picks up a nearby cloak. It is long and dark. She wraps it around her body, perfectly at home.
I love you, my Joy.
She wordlessly pulls the cloak over her head. Fezziwig watches her go. He looks around, then at the letter in his hands.
My son, if you want to make things better, make them better.
He opens the letter and reads to himself. As he reads, time shifts. His childhood home appears once more and starts to change before his eyes. The once neglected walls begin to pulse with new life, to form into something else. Fezziwig continues to read. The little house has become a pub, a warm and bustling pub, the kind of place that makes you feel like you're a part of the family. Fezziwig lowers the letter and looks at the pub with a smile. He lifts up a large sign and affixes it to the front. It reads, Fezziwig's Fortune. Time shifts. Inside, the pub is decked out for Christmas. Music plays and people feast. Hope is among them, though others seem not to notice her. Ebenezer sits at the counter talking to Fezziwig. In front of him is not a drink, but a notepad.
You sold your shares just in time, sir, but that income won't last unless you can make something of this place. According to my calculations, you're making far less annually than you were at the warehouse.
Is that so? Are you sure you don't want some ale?
Yes, I am saving my money.
It would be on the house, of course. It's Christmas Eve.
Absolutely not, sir. Why would a holiday be an acceptable excuse for loss of revenue? I must go. This was enlightening.
Off to see Belle?
No? Oh, no, I have work to do.
It's Christmas Eve.
With all due respect, humbug, sir.
Hope watches him intently as he goes out the door, then approaches Fezziwig.
Interesting lad, that one.
He'll come around.
I have no doubt. It's almost time.
It is, isn't it?
The atmosphere shifts. The people in the pub are gone. There's now something otherworldly about the space. Fezziwig closes his eyes with a smile. Catherine enters the space, still wearing the red robe Joy gave her.
Heads up!
She tosses an orange at Fezziwig, who catches it and smiles at his wife. The music from the top of the play begins again as Fezziwig and Catherine embrace. As Hope speaks, Joy enters and takes a seat at the bar. She is still cloaked, still hooded. Hope offers her a cup of something steaming. She wraps both hands around the mug, and we can see the tips of her fingers. They are bone, but her body language says warmth and peace and joy. Hope pulls the ripped out page from A Christmas Carol out of her pocket and reads from it. Both to the Fezziwig family and to whoever else may be watching.
The happiness he gives is quite as great as if it cost a fortune.
The music swells. The clock begins to chime.
A dance, milady?
You'd never ask.
He takes her in his arms, and they spin to the music. As the clock chimes, she works her way out of his embrace and joins the other two spirits.
Until next year, my love.
I shall be holding you in my heart until you return to my arms.
He spins and dances to the music alone, a smile of contentment on his face. The fire of the candles dance along. Lights dim. End of play.